This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome into another edition of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show here live from Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale here in South Tulsa. So glad you can be with us for another week as we get set to talk basketball for the next hour. We're here until noon, so come out, join us, have some fun, get some lunch, and it should be a great time. Coach Anderson will join us in just a matter of moments, and before then, we will kind of get you caught up on what's been going on the past week in both basketball programs. It was a very successful week, the pseudo Victory Monday, you could call it, but the women sweep the Big Sky Summit League Challenge, and Oral Roberts men come back from down 20 at halftime on Saturday night, and they pull out a much-needed big win over Montana State. We'll talk to Corey Barnett in the second half of our hour. We will kick it off with Coach Anderson in just a matter of minutes, but her team looked really, really impressive over the last week, getting a 92-89 win over one of the top teams in the Big Sky, the Idaho Vandals, up in Moscow, Idaho, and then Idaho State at home. And it was a game in which Idaho State would throw a punch, but then ORU would throw it right back, and they kept them at arm's length for pretty much the entirety of that game. It was impressive stuff to watch. They win that one 68-58, so really excited to get Coach Anderson's thoughts on both of those games. We did get to talk to her a little bit post-game on Saturday after the Idaho State victory, but a pair of really, really big wins, and her squad now up to an even 5-5 on the year. They're 4-1 at home as well, and they've won 3 in a row. So a good last week and a half for Coach Anderson and her squad as she is joining us right now on the Coaches Show, is rolling in from the MCAC. Always appreciated time here with Coach Anderson. And Coach, I know it's a crazy Monday, but I appreciate you speeding over here, legally, of course, to join us here for a half hour full of basketball with you. And we're just talking about the week that your program had, and you guys won 3 in a row now, 2 really big wins in the Big Sky Summit League Challenge. And it all started with that game against the Vandals up in Idaho, and obviously a high-scoring one, 92 points. Always great to see offensively for your team. But it was against a really good Vandals team. They came into that game 7-1, picked one of the better teams in the Big Sky, rather. And you guys go in there and you win a tight ball game, and you made some really timely shots down the stretch. What did you like from your team on Wednesday night?
Wow, absolutely right. What a great ball club. They are just loaded all around. They had shooters all around. Their post presence was unbelievable. All 3 of their post players were just remarkable. They were able to rebound. They're able to shoot. I think they had a 6'5" player that handles the ball like a guard, and then they could shoot the 3. They can attack and rebounding machines. Great point guard, great guards around them. Just unbelievable ball club. Extremely nice coaches, and they were very, very well prepared. And I think our girls came in and they just fought. But like I told them, the first half, Kate Donley, she came in and I think she loosened everything up. She opened everything up. She hit some big, big threes for us. And Connor, not just 1, not 2. I think she hit like 3 or 4 that just – it's just effortless. Like, it wasn't like she was wide open. She was just in rhythm, and she was just knocking it down. And, those are the games, like, you're just feeling it. And she just played mindless, and she went in there and she, kept us in the ball game, that game. And just really wasn't Gentry. I don't think she scored at all that game, but hats off to her as well. She had 6 assists, 0 turnovers. And then we come in the second half, and I told Elena Shetler, I was like, hey, we're gonna use you in the second half. She didn't play much in the third. We brought her in towards the end of the third. And, as a player, you're like, okay, well, maybe, they didn't put me in the first 2 minutes. I'm not going in, and you could sulk, but she didn't. She stayed locked in, and she was ready to go. And she hit 12 points in 9 minutes, and she was just unbelievable. And I've been telling them all year, it's just going to be a team effort, along with Jaylee and Anna just doing their thing consistently for us all season, every single day. And I'm just proud of all of them. And it has been, we talked about it, Connor, all year. And I know it's just early December, but it's about us, and it's about when your numbers call, being ready and being disciplined and being consistent, and just extremely proud of their effort all weekend, all week.
You talk about Shetler's 9 minutes. You
Yeah.
literally only played 9 minutes, scored 12
Correct.
points, was 5 of 6 from the field, hit two massive threes down the stretch there.
Yes.
Arguably the shots of the game
Yeah, for sure.
for you guys in that one. And I mean, you mentioned it. She kept her head up. Obviously, could be a little bit disappointing when you don't play as many minutes as maybe a player envisions, but her number was called upon, and she was ready to roll.
Right. And I got a text message, and it said bank 3, with exclamations. And I said, hey, they count too. And that sucker went off the glass and it went in. It was all net after it hit the glass. But,
Yes.
but hey, I was just extremely proud of us as a team, but especially her. And that just shows you she's been putting some extra effort in off the court, and those things pay off, and I just, like I told you after our game on Saturday, I mean, we're starting to see the fruit of our labor. We're starting to see the fruit of just the gauntlet of November. But Connor, it's not over. And as excited and happy as I am for them, it's kind of, I've moved on, and we need to stay focused and make sure we have a good week, a good finals week, and make sure that we're ready to go. We still have 2 big ones on the road.
And outside of Shetler's 12 points, you guys had your kind of quote-unquote big 3 do their thing as well. Anna Trusty with 24, Jaylee with 20, Donnelly with 19. You mentioned her shooting, especially from beyond the arc. She was 3 of 5 from downtown, 10 of 10 from the line as well. How big was that down the stretch?
I mean, if you look at the stats, they all shot it well, and I don't even want to say it out loud from the free throw line. As soon as you say it,
I could say it for you.
Okay, yeah, please
21
say it
of
for
22 as a team.
Yeah, and I mean, just and I say it all the time, you got to be locked in. Locked in all the time, and that may not always mean on the court, or that may mean 2 minutes, that may mean 9 minutes, but when you're locked in and you're ready to go and you've been putting the work in, you can't do it just when your numbers are called.
Mhm.
There's a few players that are gamers and they can do that,
Right.
but most people have to put that work in and be prepared, days before their moment is called. And man, those 3 have been consistent on both ends of the floor, especially Anna and KD. They've been really great on both ends of the floor. They're able to guard multiple positions, and then also come back on the other end and knock down some points. And I mean, as a team, we just shot the ball well, but I think we played as a unit, as a team, very, very well.
Yeah, you guys did shoot it well, 43% for the field, 40% from 3, and then of course, only the 1 miss at the line. And anytime you shoot a 21 of 22 from the stripe, you're probably going to win the game. And it, was big time. And what was a 3-point win? This is one of the crazier stats that jumps off the page to me. So you guys shot 72 field goals. That's a lot, I feel like, in a college basketball game. Idaho ones up you guys. They shoot 83 field goals, and you guys still end up winning. And they shot at 47%. They didn't shoot it poorly. What was the defensive execution down the stretch? Because, again, team shoots it 83 times. They're probably going to win.
But look, they're shooting layups. Look how many offensive rebounds number 9 had. And she had 15 rebounds on us, and they were putbacks, So, and that's an area, I don't have to hide it. That's an area we have to get better at individually and as a team on the inside, and, just blocking out and making sure that we're protecting the restriction circle and in, but I'm just telling you, like toughness, that's exactly what we've been hanging our hat on and really trying to find our toughness. And that's a part of our pillars and kind of who we are. And being gritty is a part of who we are and what we stand for. And I'm telling you, to go on the road with that caliber of team, it has to take grit, and they're not going to hand it to you. You have to go and take it, and I feel like that's what they did. And I mean, it's not over. I'm so proud of them. I really, really am. But on to the next,
You mentioned the offensive rebounding numbers. They had 19 as a team. Number 9, you keep mentioning Deborah Dos Santos, casual 22 and 15 in 21 minutes on 11 of 13 shooting.
Wow.
She had 9 of those 19 offensive boards. So
don't remind me.
That'll keep you up at night a little bit. But again, you guys ended up winning the game. So a big win at Idaho, 92-89. the final there, and then you guys come back home and play an Idaho State team that was, pretty highly touted in the preseason. And I mean, they also had some players who could really turn it on. Of course, Tasha Jordan being the one at the top of the scouting report. She had 24 points, and she was really, really good. But it felt like you guys were able to really key in on her when you needed to, especially down the stretch. I know she sat for a little bit there in that fourth quarter, which I know we talked about was a little bit odd, and we weren't really expecting that. But it seemed like every time Idaho State was able to kind of creep back into the ball game, you guys would score 2 or 3 buckets in a row and stretch out that lead once again.
Absolutely. She did a great job. Similar to Jaylee, just getting to her spot. We all knew that she could go off any moment. She's probably by far one of their most athletic guards that they have on their team, but she did a really, really good job of getting to her spot, which was around that free throw line area, very similar to Jaylee. And she put the ball on the floor. She was athletic enough to get all the way to the rim, crafty enough to make, some tough passes. And, we knew we had to hone in and kind of see if we could take advantage of her defensively. And our staff and our coaches, they made a good call down the stretch, and we were able to adjust defensively and also able to adjust offensively as well. And I don't know, that's part of why maybe she sat, because of the position we put her in defensively. And then some of the calls that our staff made down the stretch, we were able to, switch some things up. And I think that allowed us to get some steals, some easy buckets, got us to the free throw line quite a bit down the stretch. And Gentry didn't hit a lot, but she hit a big 3. And then I think Anna hit a big 3 down the stretch. And then Presley as well hit a big 3 down the stretch. And I think that opened it up or kept the lead, the cushion, at 10 or so, enough for us. And time was ticking off. So, the time was on our side. But I thought our staff, I'm telling you, made a great adjustment and great suggestions down that stretch, I would say the last 7 minutes, or if not the whole fourth quarter. We were making adjustments and, things like that. And they made some great suggestions, and they worked. And extremely thankful on my end for the staff that we do have, because those adjustments allowed us to get that win for sure.
It was a complete 180 in the second half, shooting the threes. You mentioned you guys shot at 50%
Right.
in that second half after only making 3 of them in the first. And you mentioned the defensive effort. You guys sit down on the defensive end, only give up 58. That is not easy to do in today's college basketball, because there's a lot of scoring. And I know the way you guys just play too, you get up and down real fast, and you got to be really pleased. And I know you mentioned the coaching staff and what they were doing suggestion wise and adjustment wise, but anytime you give up 58 points, that's got to make you smile.
Yeah, definitely. We've been honing in on just taking pride in your one-on-one, assignment. Guard your man, stay in front of the basketball. Like, take pride in staying in front of the basketball and saying, hey, I don't need help. That's our thing. If we can limit rotations because you're doing a great job on the ball, we're exactly where we need to be. We don't have 2 on the ball because we had to rotate and we're shifting and everyone's scrambling. We don't have to do that because you have taken pride in your defensive assignments. And sometimes it doesn't, athleticism, it does help. Athleticism in anything will help when it comes to any type of sport. But sometimes just a little bit of heart, of grit, and toughness. Like, hey, I'm going to do my job and I'm going to block out, put a body on somebody, and we're going to go the other end. But we've taken also pride in guarding 1.5 men, being in the gaps, being active, and helping our teammates, and then getting out and running. But, Connor, like getting up and down and scoring a lot of points, that's great and all. It is entertaining. But if we can be disciplined enough to stay in, I don't care if we win by 1, we get in the shell and we do what we're supposed to do and get stops and then go convert, then that shows growth on our end.
You guys did well, obviously, shooting the ball in the second half.
Right.
And the kind of the 3 usual suspects, Jaylee with 16 points, Anna Trusty with 14, and then Gentry, of course, hitting a couple of big shots down the stretch. She finishes with 10. And I know you said it to me after the game on Saturday that, people are going to maybe think you're crazy because you're still playing 12 guys. But again, I know we talked about this last week on the coaches show. It's a blessing and a curse as a head coach. And I think, honestly, it's been more of the blessing over the last 2-3 games because, again, you don't really know who's going to be that big-time scorer. If you had to guess, it's probably Jaylee or Anna. But outside of that, you're keeping teams guessing, and then all of a sudden you get Gentry Baldwin drop to 10. Or at Idaho, you get Elena Shetler dropping 12.
Exactly. And I mean, I guess that's the fun part, or I'm just crazy. I don't know.
It's fun for me.
Yeah, I can't really figure it out. But on the scouting report, honestly, are they putting all 12 down? I mean, you just never know. And for an opponent to have to maybe know 12 players versus maybe knowing, 5 or 6, that makes a difference with the mental load of everything. But man, it's comforting for me and also crazy at the same time. So I'm gonna, kind of play devil's advocate when I say this, but that I believe honestly in every single one of them. And I know if it is 2 minutes or if it's 4 minutes, that's 2 or 4 more minutes that you have of experience. And I'm telling you, that is the best teacher. You can practice all day, you can do this, but getting in the game, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like that speed. You can simulate it as much as you want to. You can bring the guys in, but there's nothing like decision making. There's nothing like the time and the pressure. And, oh, am I going to get pulled out? Like all of that plays a big part. And whether you're on the floor for 2 minutes or 32 minutes, like that time is valuable. And you making good decisions, and it doesn't always mean points. And I hope our players know that it's not always points. Sometimes that is on the defensive end. They're going to learn that. It's still early December. So maybe in January, it's going to play off and we're getting more fruit from our labor. And then in February, again, maybe those 2 minutes are now 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And now what do we look like in March? I mean, we could have 10 show up,
right?
And that could be a monster for somebody in March.
Yeah, a big discussion point that Tom and I were talking about during the game was we referred back to the Tulsa game quite a bit, especially in that second. I mean, I know that doesn't make you happy, but it was for good reason because it felt like, you guys go up 10 against Idaho State in the second half. It was a very similar situation, it felt like, but you guys responded in a much different way.
Right.
What were you guys able to learn as a staff from that loss, and how have you been able to apply that going forward? Because, again, it kind of seems like ever since that KU game, you guys look like a completely different team, especially on offense.
Wow, that's a loaded question. What we've learned as a staff is we're still searching. We're still believing. We're still believing in ourselves and our team, but most importantly, they're still believing in us, in what we're doing. And I think that has been huge to see their constant growth and their constant get back up, because we got knocked down, pretty bad in the month of November. So I think they were still growing and still learning, but also we also found out a lot of things about them, like, hey, we need to still be doing this. We're going to have to pull this out of them. So I think as a staff too, we kind of learned about our players, and we still are, but we've had to yank and pull and push a few things out of our players, because getting them uncomfortable has been kind of our goal this whole year, because it's not their personality.
Right.
We have really, really sweet girls. They are very competitive. We got winners on our team, but trying to find that dog within is what we've had to pull out. And I think just getting out of the forest of the P4 games, I think that played a lot, but we honed in on what were the positives that we can take back from that. And our main thing was competing. You have to compete. And you never know, with you competing could allow you to put yourself in a position to win. And I think that KU game, that was just competing. And then we looked up and it's a 6-point game, possibly. Right. It's a 9-point game. And, there's 4 minutes on the clock. Anything could happen, And so I think the competitive side, but competing with understanding the why also is one thing that we've kind of helped them. A lot of film. We've also learned and then also as a staff, I think we've learned too, just simplifying a lot of things. Like, okay, what are we good at? What do we want to focus on? I think as, because they're so young, we can't give them a lot. Like what 2 or 3 things do we want to focus on this week and be good at? And I think we've done a great job as a staff. Just kind of, we put the whole buffet out there and we're like, okay, we're just going to have chicken. And we're going to have turkey today. I mean, we don't need any prime rib. We don't need ribs. We don't need barbecue. We're just going to go turkey and chicken and let them chew on that. So I think they've done a great job with just kind of the simple side of everything. But then honestly, in that Saturday game, we were able to pivot, and they did a great job adjusting as well.
And I keep mentioning the offense and how smooth it looks right now. And you mentioned that there's no teacher like the game itself. Have you seen that be kind of a product of them getting more comfortable in game action? Because, again, the only way you can simulate a game is a game. And when you go to Oklahoma State, when you go to Nebraska, when you go to Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are environments that you're not going to see every single day. Do you think that's helped your team moving forward?
Oh, absolutely. It's helped our team mentally. It's helped our team even physically. I know that's crazy, but like, hey, this is how far y'all are from high school where you were, 6, 7 months ago to hello, welcome to college, and you're playing against grown women. I mean, there's not too many rosters that look like ours where you're starting 2 freshmen. Half the team are freshmen,
Right.
and they're getting a lot of minutes. Most people are not playing 12 people, like it is just not normal. But I love that because ORU is not normal. And I'm okay with not being normal. And I think they've embraced that growth in the learning environment. But I think the competitive edge and understanding the big picture of everything and why we're doing some things has really, really helped them. I just think just us not forgetting the details and kind of our big vision and being prepared for January 1. But I think also too, Connor, and I'll be quiet on this. I'll let you ask another question. Like, we've broken the month down into just weeks
Mhm.
and not just looking as a whole at the whole month. Okay, we need to take care of these first 2 games. Then we have finals and this week off. And what's our focus? And then we have 2 more games. And then we have a week off. And then we have 1 more game. So I think just being just simple, them seeing the big picture and having a short memory as well. I mean, they forgot about it. It still hurt. Don't get me wrong. The Tulsa game, it stung for a little bit. Getting our butts whooped early on, it stung for a little bit, but I love that. They were crying, they were upset about it, and that's how you have winners, and then you can grow and get better from that.
I did want to ask you about this week in particular, and I
Mhm.
know you literally just came from a meeting about it, but
Yeah.
how do you guys go about as a coaching staff managing your players, when they have finals, the semester's wrapping up? They're getting pulled in a lot of different directions mentally. How do you
Right.
keep them focused on the things that are important? Obviously, of course, the finals week, and then still keeping them as locked in as possible when you guys go to Wichita State.
Yeah, we're gonna change a few things up this week and kind of keep it fun, kind of keep it light, really short and quick. We don't want to drag anything out this week and allow them to focus on studies. And we got to think there's 8 of them on our roster that have never had a final before in college at ORU. They don't understand that mental load yet. So we definitely want to keep it short. We want to keep it fun. And keep it light to a certain extent, trying not to lose cardio, but how can we do that differently? And that's what we met about, and just making sure our whole staff from weight room to recovery is all on the same page. But fun, just keeping it fun. We don't want to beat them down because they don't know yet.
Right.
They don't know what it feels like to take 3 finals in one day. They don't know what that means, so
Been there, done that.
yeah, and
Kinda over
we
it.
don't want to go back. Exactly. So that's our goal. And then we'll worry about the next towards the end of the week.
I guess our finals are each game on the schedule, especially for you,
Mhm.
because of the amount of preparation that we got to do. So it's a little bit better than taking a chemistry final or something like that.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I digress. I loved college, but that part not so much. It wasn't a great test taker. That's
Absolutely.
why I'm here doing radio. But as we move on, and I know you guys don't want to get too ahead of yourselves. You got 2 straight road games against Wichita State and North Texas, and it's been the same discussion between your guys' schedule and the men's schedule as well. It feels like a lot of conference-like opponents getting stacked up, which I think is extremely beneficial for you guys, and I'm sure you guys feel the same. But 2 big road games, and you come home for Oklahoma Wesleyan, and then it's Summit
It's
League
go
time.
time.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, how important are these 2, especially on the road? And you guys obviously got it started on a positive note with Idaho, and a chance to take on 2 American Conference opponents that are winnable games.
Right. Road wins are big. Being able to be mature enough to go on the road and execute. And it's an early game against Wichita. So once again, play at 11 o'clock. And
Yeah, what is with that? You guys get all the early games, it feels like.
I know. But the blessing is we get to get back home.
That's
So
true.
we'll be home by 2 o'clock. So that is the blessing. And we played at 11 quite a bit. So we can use that as well. We've done this before. And honestly, just last week, we just did it. So it'll be good. But one thing that is similar in both of those opponents is they're, both athletic. They're both going to want to get up and down the floor, and they're going to want to play on the inside as well. So just being able to keep our legs and being on the road, being able to get off the bus and mentally be prepared, being able to knock down shots off the road, doing it early. So, I mean, just still a lot of maturity and growth. I think we've done better with that with Idaho going in. And that was a quick turnaround.
Right.
I mean, quick turnaround. So we'll be able to use that. And our girls do really, really well with, okay, we've done it before. And now we're a little more comfortable. It's just the first time with them that's just kind of like, so now we have a lot of jewels in our pocket right now, a lot of coins, a lot of things that we can pull out and say, hey, we've been here before. What are we going to do? So I'm excited for them, excited to see how they're going to respond for another quick turnaround. No more school. So this is a fun time of basketball.
Right.
You kind of feel like a professional. All you're doing is just hooping, getting on the bus, going to go play. Yeah, it's great stuff. So two good opponents, two fast-paced games, two big-time post presence on both of their ends, and then we got Christmas. So we're excited.
Even better.
Yeah, we're excited.
I'll ask you one more thing before we get you out of here. And I know you guys were stuck on a tarmac for quite a long time on the way back from Idaho.
Uh-oh.
Did you guys give Coach Hannon, any business about him just completely not understanding the passing the phone game?
Okay, in his defense, he's going to be so mad that we brought this up.
He tried to explain it to me the other day.
Yeah, in his defense, he was in the back of the plane. Now, our girls and none of the other coaches, maybe one or two, knew what was going on, but our girls were kind of in the front. There was a few coaches in the middle, Coach Annan and I think Gentry and maybe one other were in the very, very back. Mm-hmm. He was watching film. And we had been on the plane probably 30 minutes at that point, 45. He had no idea what was going on. And half of us really didn't. So he had to take his headphones out, put his computer away. And he's like, what do y'all want? And he didn't know. We couldn't explain it to him. So in his defense, he did not know what was going on and what we were playing. And so it definitely was not a setup. And the funny guy that Coach Annan is, he made it the best, even though he doesn't think that it was funny at all. And it's our fault because we didn't tell him kind of what was going on and what the game was about. And but he made it hilarious.
I think he was the funniest part of the video.
I mean,
bar none.
Yeah, and you look at the comments and everyone's like, just all Coach Annan, please give me more Coach Annan content. So he's going to hate that we even brought this up.
I know.
So sorry, Coach. We apologize.
Coach, you're the best. But we all love Coach Hannon. But I appreciate the time as always. I know we'll get you out of here because you got more important stuff to go handle.
No, you're important.
I appreciate that. But big thanks to Coach Anderson here at Waldo's Chicken at 71st and Yale. Come join us. We're out here for another half hour until noon. We'll talk to the head men's basketball coach, Corey Barnett, after the break. This is
KB.
the ORU Coaches Show on the ORU Sports Network.
Man, what a great game.
Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa has hundreds of 2025 Ram trucks that must be eliminated to make room for the 2026 models. They all must go. Patriot will discount 2025 Ram 1500s in stock up to $18,000. Plus, get 3.9% APR for 72 months. Ram 2500 heavy duties come with $17,000 in savings. Get to Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa, 46th and Memorial. Stock number 250143, MSRP 78404. Stock number 250676, MSRP 7535. Dealer retains all rebates.
When it comes to family dinner, Waldo's Chicken makes everyone happy. Kids love the hand-breaded tenders and creamy mac and cheese. Parents love the deal. Every Tuesday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entry. Whether you are craving sandwich, wings, or fresh salad, Waldo's has something for everyone. With 3 Tulsa area locations open 7 days a week, plus catering for any event, Waldo's Chicken serves up flavor and smiles. Waldo's, where family favorites are made fresh every day.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC from Ford Credit.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Racers, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
At Grubbs Acura of Tulsa, we don't just sell cars, we stand behind them. That's why we offer a lifetime warranty on every new Acura and select pre-owned vehicles. Drive with confidence, knowing your investment is protected for the long haul. Stop by Grubbs Acura of Tulsa today. Luxury you can trust, backed for life.
Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa has hundreds of 2025 Ram trucks that must be eliminated to make room for the 2026 models. They all must go. Patriot will discount 2025 Ram 1500s in stock up to $18,000. Plus, get 3.9% APR for 72 months. Ram 2500 heavy duties come with $17,000 in savings. Get to Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa, 46th and Memorial. Stock number 250143, MSRP 78404. Stock number 250676, MSRP 7535. Dealer retains all rebates.
This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Coach Show rolls on here from Waldo's Chicken at 71st and Yale. Connor Clark here with you on the ORU Sports Network, and the head men's basketball coach Corey Barnett joining us now. We are here until noon, so come out, hang out with us, get some lunch, and get out of the cold for a little bit as well. At least it's sunny here today. I feel like it's been cold and gloomy and miserable over the last week or so. So at least we get some sunshine here today. But come hang out with us. We are here until noon and talking all things ORU basketball. But before we do anything, and I feel like it'd be wrong of me.
It would be.
Your Hoosiers.
Yeah, I'm watching.
They did it.
They're over in the corner right now, beating Ohio State.
Oh, there is a rerun on it.
There is.
They knew you were coming.
They knew I was
But
coming.
yeah, they did it. I feel like we're living in a simulation. The Indiana Hoosiers are outright Big Ten conference champions in football.
Kurt Ciganetti is the best football coach in the country, and I think this is the greatest football achievement in NCAA football history.
It's up there. I mean, it's up there for the greatest turnaround ever of a program.
I don't care anything. You can say national championships, you can say whatever. There's no, but like the program that he took over and the way that he's done it. I mean, he literally walked into Assembly Hall in front of 17,000 people, and he said, not only are we going to beat Purdue, we're going to beat Michigan. We're going to beat Ohio State. Google me. And I was
Google
like,
him.
And man, did he back every inch of that. Pretty wild.
Should I share my screen and Google him right now? You can see his record, but
the man wins.
I mean,
it's fun to watch.
I got a love-hate relationship with Coach Sig because I think what he's doing is awesome.
It is
at Indiana, and I think what he says in the press conferences is hilarious most of the
best.
time.
It's the best.
But as a guy who went to another Big Ten school,
Fair.
who's been struggling to get back to national prominence for the last 30 years, and then he could just walk in and do it in 2,
it's pretty amazing.
It feels unfair.
It does.
I mean, and didn't they get a huge donor boost or something, or am I thinking of another school? I thought it was Indiana. They probably did.
I can't confirm or deny.
Well, okay. Well, that means they did. So.
I don't want to take it away from Sig. Sig is winning.
He is. I don't think it takes away from his winning whatsoever. But yeah, we just had to squeeze that in there, else KB was going to start chanting Hoosiers up in here. And I don't know what the Sooners fans would think about that.
They
in the
wouldn't.
area as well.
Trust
they
me.
Will
Saxon is a Sooner fan. So if that game ends up becoming the matchup, we're going to have some fun.
That'll be a good time in the locker room.
We obviously won't gamble on it. We'll just have conversations.
And
friendly.
Probably yell at each other.
Yeah,
for
push up waivers or something.
Yeah, that'll be fine. So that'll be hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed.
There
for
you
that.
go.
But all right, we got our Indiana talk out of the way.
Okay, we're out of the way.
We had to. Let's get into what was Saturday night and pretty insane win for you guys. I think that's probably a good word to describe it. And you're now 42-22 at half. And let's start there. The first 20 minutes.
It's a fun place to start.
Yeah, the fun place to start. Well, I mean, you got to start there in order to have fun with
Sure.
the second 20 minutes. But it felt like, at least from our table, Montana State had the 3-point line scouted really, really well.
Yeah.
And they defended it really, really well. And I know we talked about it post-game. You guys only shot 16 threes, which is well below your average per game.
Yeah.
But you found something in that second half, and you guys were able to get to the bucket, and clearly something stuck out about their defense. What did you guys notice, and how are you guys able to attack the interior more than usual?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it goes back. We had 3 halves of just not us basketball, and I think the guys listened to a certain degree at Weber in terms of how much we needed to go into the paint. We just didn't finish and didn't have the physicality level, and then because of that early, we allowed our early misses in the paint to affect us for the rest of the game, and then we stopped going in there with the force and the intention that we needed to. And unfortunately, that then is you get in quicksand, and then the lead just spiraled there, and we just didn't play at the level we needed to. So we had some spirited practices in situations where we usually don't. And then I think because of those spirited practices, our guys came out and were potentially a little tired in that first half, but they played the right way. Even if you really watch the first half down 20, we were in the locker room, and shockingly enough, as a staff, going like, what we're doing offensively is not wrong. Like, we're getting it to the third or fourth side. We're attacking the paint that we want to. We're just not making the shots. And so that halftime speech was a lot more about just the belief of us and them, and leaning into it and not allowing the results to take away from the process, and keep attacking the paint the way that we are. And then showed them a few things on their switching that we could exploit. And I thought they went out and played sharp, played with intention, but more than anything else, they played with force and unselfishness. And that's what we want to build our entire program around, not only our offense. And I thought they handled it really well.
You guys had taped on the wall in the practice gym 58-16 after that Weber State game. You now have 28-26 taped on the wall, which I don't know if you saw that, but
I made the change.
A much different number there, but that resembled the points in the paint at Weber State. How much of a motivating factor was that for your guys over the next couple of days leading into Saturday night?
Motivating. Like, to be honest with you, if you have a soft group, you don't do that. Like, I changed the locker room code to 58-16. I taped on the wall. I put it on the scoreboard. And if I thought that our group was soft, I wouldn't have done that, because you're just confirming who they are. But I was confirming who we aren't, and that's not. We have a tough group. We have a group that likes physicality, that likes to play with force and fly around and play with a level of passion. So I needed them to get back to who they were and have confidence in who they were. And I thought our leadership did a really good job of getting us to that spot. And thankfully, obviously, we went out and we did it for at least 20 minutes in the second half.
Well, that's all it took, apparently. So
that's all it took.
You guys ended up with a 4-point win, and a big one at that. You guys split the Big Sky Summit League Challenge, and let's dive deeper into that second half. And Tom and I were talking at the table, and we go to the, I think it was under 8 timeout, or right before that, and he brought up a good point. I mean, not only did you guys really erase the deficit, you did it in about 10 minutes. I mean, it was quick. Yeah. So it wasn't like, you're going into the under 4 and you guys are still down 4, but you're right there. I mean, it was like that. And all of a sudden it's a brand new ball game. How much of that changed the approach of your team? Because, you mentioned in the post game too, getting their swagger back a little bit. Obviously they did in that second half. And now you're essentially playing a 10-minute game to decide a winner in that second half.
Yeah, regardless of who you are, unless you stack stops together, unless you're a team that can find ways to string stops, we call them kills, 3 stops in a row. Unless you can find a way to do that, you're just not going to be able to compete at the level you need to, regardless of how well you're shooting it. Our 2 best offensive outputs of the year, efficiency-wise, are losses. And our 4 best defensive outputs of the year, efficiency-wise, are wins. So when we guard and we sit down and we have a certain level of attention to detail and physicality, we can win a lot of games. But when we don't, we're going to struggle, regardless of how well we're shooting. Our best offensive game of the year was Tulsa, and we lose by 1. So it's just our guys. The more that they understand that and feel that and take ownership in that, that's where our ceiling is how well we can string stops together. And they did in that early first half. And you saw, like I told them at halftime, guys, if you get a few stops in a row, if you start this half off worrying about 1 possession at a time, the pressure will flip, because you don't want to be the team that loses the 20-point lead. So all the pressure was on us, the home team, blah, 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 blah. But as soon as they started getting stops and the ball stopped going in for them, they tightened, they started pointing fingers, the pressure flipped. And then for us, we played a lot more free.
You guys held them to 26 points in that second half. You scored 50, so a much different second 20 minutes. And you guys made 7 field goals in that first half. They only made 9 in the second half. And Jed Miller was kind of the guy getting going for them in that first half. And
good player.
We talked about Cal Furnish's defensive efforts a lot in that second 20 minutes, in the way that he was able to just keep him in front, and he was scoreless for the better part of 18 minutes in that second half. What did you notice defensively, and especially Cal too? I mean, his effort was phenomenal.
Yeah, they were hurting us on some of their ball screen stuff. They were slipping out, and I thought we did a poor job early on executing what we were trying to do. And so we made another adjustment just to make it a little simpler, and our guys had a lot of carryover with it, and that helped Cal, because he could just know, I'm not worrying about what that ball screen is. I'm not worried about forcing it one direction. I'm just keeping this ball in front. And whether that was Cal or Jack or whoever was on him, I thought everybody did a much better job in that second half of being able to make those adjustments and doing it with a level of physicality and overall our defense with the way that we were in a stance, our activity level, our motors were significantly higher than they had been in those prior 3 halves.
Well, Ofri Neve was the player of the game offensively, arguably. I think you can make a decent argument for Ty, too, the way he got to the free throw line.
No doubt.
Ofri with 25 points, 7 rebounds, and, I mean, he was just phenomenal, not only in the second half, but in the first half, too. He finishes 11 of 18 from the field, and I think a big momentum turn in that game was when he just flies in out of nowhere and gets that tip dunk off of a missed three and really got you guys going. What was it about his effort? And, of course, he puts up a career-high number after coming off of a game in which he didn't play because he had a concussion.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't make the trip with us to Weber, which had a huge effect on who our team is. We've already lost Sparky, who, no pun intended, is our spark. Like, he is our energy level. He is our passion. Like, how hard he plays is wildly contagious. So we've already had to adjust that for the year. And then you take another guy out who is by far our most vocal guy. It's him and Connor. And we really missed that in Weber. And I didn't think we did a good enough job filling those gaps. And then you bring him back. And he honestly, to be real, he was very much not himself in any of the practices or shoot arounds. Like, he's still coming off of an injury. It doesn't just come back all the way and everything's clear. And so he was slowly kind of getting back in it. And I even told him multiple times prior to the game, like, oh, if you have anything, I care about your long-term career, not this game. And so I want you to be as sure as possible that you're ready to roll. And Tony kept saying he was. Ofri kept saying he was. And obviously I was wrong. He definitely was. And I, again, like I told you in the post game, he has 25 and 7, but he also held a first-team All-Big Sky guy to 0 points, and their leading scorer doesn't score, and a lot of that was Ofri's matchup. And so he had one of his best efforts on both ends, and it's a big-time glue for us. And his approach to the game helped a lot of the guys around him, no doubt.
Yeah, you mentioned his leadership capabilities as well, and just how vocal he is, and you guys missed that at Weber. And was there a point in time in this game where you really felt his vocalness pick up your squad, especially when things weren't going your way?
Yeah, no, I mean, in the halftime locker room, I thought he was incredible. I thought in multiple huddles, he was bringing energy, but it was way more belief, and he just needed to help these guys understand this is who we are. This is how we play. And when we do it consistently, we can be a really good basketball team. When we get into what ifs and confidence levels going up and down, that's when we struggle. And he did a really good job in each and every huddle, getting them to where they need to be, thankfully.
And shocker, he was the first person out for pregame warm-ups.
Yeah,
shooting around.
That's going to be consistent.
It's a pretty safe bet every time.
No doubt.
You guys have a basketball game, especially at home. Talk about Ty Harper. He finishes with 20 points, 14 of them from the free throw line. And Tom really liked the fact that you guys kind of, I don't want to say isolated him, but had him play it downhill a lot in that second half. It clearly paid off with the amount that he got fouled. And what did you like about his aggressiveness in that second half? Because clearly, I mean, they couldn't guard him down there because he kept getting to the free throw line.
No doubt. And honestly, it's all just taking coaching. I thought he had his worst game at Weber in terms of going to get fouled and going first side and going in transition, which you're going to get a lot less calls that way. You're going up against a primary matchup a lot of times. And they're going to be more disciplined than a guy who switches onto you. And you're going to get fouled, which a lot of times refs just aren't going to give you that call. Whether it's a foul or not, they see you creating contact and they say, you created it. That's the reason the foul occurred. And he did not get to the line at the level that he thought he should have at Weber, which affected the rest of his game. His maturity level going into this one was phenomenal. He understood, why he played the way he did at Weber and made a massive adjustment in terms of how he went and got those 16 free throws off a second and third side, ball reversals, hunting the right matchup, getting to the paint, playing off 2 feet, the way he used fakes. Like, he is, in my opinion, the most dynamic guard in the Summit League. That there's not a person, in my opinion, who can keep him up front. And especially if you're going to switch 5 ways, now you're going to give him a matchup that he wants. I just don't understand how he can't get 16 free throws a game, because you're not going to be able to keep him out of your paint. The only way he doesn't get 16 free throws is if he's making 16 layups. So
right.
It's something that we need. It's the rim pressure we need consistently. And when he does it, it opens up a lot for everybody else.
We talked about, how freaky athletic he is. And he's going to be a tough guard no matter what conference, honestly, that you're playing in. Another number that sticks out, and I know you mentioned this in the post-game presser as well, he had 5 assists to 1 turnover. You guys only turned it over 12 times, which is well below the average per game this year. What did you like about your guys' ball security and just discipline overall, taking care of the rock?
It's the biggest jump we need to make in terms of our offense. And we're trying to balance what we're doing. We have a lot of freedom within our offense. I think we need to get to a better sort of structure to help them get a little bit quicker on their triggers and their collisions, so where they understand where the pass is going to come from, where the shots are going to come from. So we're making that adjustment. But we also at the same time know we've played a very hard schedule to date. We played a lot of high majors. We played a lot of high level, mid to low majors, and a lot of in-state tournament teams, period. Like I think Montana State will play in the in-state tournament. I think Belmont played in the in-state tournament. I think Florida Gulf Coast and Kennesaw State both have a chance to play in the in-state tournament. Like we played a lot of high level teams. And so we don't want to over adjust what we're doing, but at the same time, we know our guys need a little more structure. And so we did that. This is our first game of it. And Corey Alford said to me prior to going out, like, hey, KB, just be aware. We made this adjustment yesterday. So this could be a little sloppy at times, and it was in the first half. And I'm walking in that halftime locker room through that tunnel, thinking if I was at Kentucky right now, they would have booed the last 5 minutes, and they'd be booing and throwing stuff right now with how we played.
But they literally are right now.
Yeah,
too.
they are. Yeah. But we instead we went into the halftime locker room. We doubled down on what we had been doing, and our guys came out in the second half and executed at a super high level, which is a massive credit to them. And it's something that we need to build on in this week that we have off.
Another guy I want to highlight too, Connor Dow. I know he didn't fill it up like he normally does, but I mean, he had been on a heater really for the last 5 games. He was shooting the ball extremely, extremely well. He didn't necessarily get too many opportunities to shoot the ball in general, but he's got 3 rebounds. He's got the 2 assists. He's got the block. He's got 2 steals. I mean, the dude is literally nearly leading the Summit in blocks, which I didn't think I'd be saying that preseason, but now here we are. And Connor Dow's one of the best rim protectors in the entire country.
Yeah.
What'd you like his effort? Because again, a guy like him where he's a primarily catch and shoot guy and he's not really necessarily seeing that success, but I feel like he's very mature in the way that he can affect the game in every other area, especially when things aren't going your way.
Connor Dow is going to be the ultimate teammate. At Weber, I think he tried to put a little bit too much on himself, the shots that he needed to take, and he saw it in film. He made the adjustments, and you would think, well, then he shouldn't go 1 for 5 in the next game. All 5 of those were elite shots, and he used his gravity in 15 other spots where he chose to not take a shot and get it to a teammate, which either led to an assist, one of his 2, or a hockey assist that led to another guy getting a wide open layup or 3. And so there were so many instances where Connor affected our offense in a super positive way. And what he brings in the defensive end, the way that he flies around, his passion, his leadership, he's irreplaceable. And the level of unselfishness he brings to every single game is rare for somebody who can score at the level that he can. And obviously it comes from just being an unbelievable human being.
Barron Smith Jr., 6 rebounds and a block and an assist in 9 minutes. And he had a pretty similar stat line at Weber State. I think his progression from when you guys got here in June to now has been arguably one of the best out of anybody on your group.
Right. Yeah.
And every time he comes into the game, he plays with confidence. It seems like he's gaining confidence as well, putting in that game setting. And again, I know I've harped on this over the last few weeks, but he's been really, really impressive off the bench.
No, he definitely has. And I remember the North Texas staff took over for us at West Virginia, so I kind of called them to help them through some of the move. And they randomly brought up Barron, and I asked him about Barron, and it was somebody that we were looking at, but he redshirted there last year. There was only high school film on him, and they just kept talking about the passion that he brought every day, the smile that he had every single day, and that the ability he has to be able to finish around the rim. And a lot of times, like Udo and Luke, they're picking pop threats, and they do a good job mixing it up, especially hunting mismatches. But Ba is one of our better rim defenders and rim finishers, and so he brings a lot. And on the flip side, regardless of whether he's making shots or not, he's going to play with a ton of energy and communication and connectivity, and our team misses that a lot. So we need to become a louder team. That's our biggest jump over the next 3 weeks prior to league play that we need to make, because we are a quiet bunch. And I struggle to be around quiet. Like we need to figure out whether it be from our leadership or our guys like Barron and Martins and guys who coming off the bench. Like we need that juice on a consistent basis. And you saw the ability to affect the game in the second half for him, as he wasn't able to play in the first half. He got 2 quick fouls, and then the second half he played a lot of those 9 minutes. And his energy level changed our motor and our urgency at a high rate.
Yeah, he grabbed 2 offensive rebounds. He's got you guys 2 extra possessions. He got
doubt.
14 offensive rebounds as a
Massive.
group, too. And that was a big part of the comeback effort. And you guys were able to capitalize on a lot of those. One last thing about Barron Smith Jr., too. I mean, his assist to Dow on the back cut, getting the dunk, another huge momentum-turning play in that game.
Yeah, no, massive. It was great ATO by the staff, and they did a great job drawing it up. And I thought both of our guys who helped with the offense and KA and Ice, they had a really good feel for when to attack, what spots to hit, and even ones that didn't go in. I thought we got a very high shot quality in that game, even better than we have in others. And to be able to get 14 offensive rebounds and only turn it over 12 times, that's our best shot volume game we've had to date, because we just weren't getting enough shots on rim, and teams were beating us in the margins too often. And when you turn it over at a high clip and you don't offensive rebound, you're going to get one shot consistently. That's going to hurt you. And you're not going to be in positions to win games. You just don't have enough attempts. So I thought our group did a really good job at having disciplined offensive crashes, and then our ball security was massive. And then obviously the execution with a lot of those sets in the second half was a difference maker.
Yeah, and obviously a big emotional win for you guys. And you come into now you get a week off, at least from basketball, but you go back and now it's finals week for your guys. I kind of asked Sophie a similar question, but how do you guys as a staff go about handling this next week with them, especially mentally too, because obviously they're focused on a lot of different things.
Yeah, no, the finals is an incredibly important piece, and how we handle those finals and our approach to those finals are massive for us as a program. And so we gave them yesterday off to be able to get reset and be able to get organized for the week. We'll go at it today, get a lot of good work in, probably a lot less thinking, a lot more running, just to keep our shape, and then we'll give them tomorrow off, and the majority of them are done after tomorrow. I think a few guys scattered into Wednesday, but then we're completed, and then we'll really use this week as a growth week. We need it, and we need this. We need to worry about us for a week, and not our opponents. And obviously, going on the road for 2 next week following Ecclesia will be a tall task for our guys, just traveling like crazy. And then you come back and play UTA, and then it's Christmas break, and then all of a sudden it's league play. So it's going to come at us like this. So our attention to detail, our growth this week, using this week and maximizing it in practice with what we're trying to build towards will be huge for us. So our staff's excited about it. We had a great day of planning. We're still planning. As soon as I take this headset off, we'll go back up and make sure we're really organized, because this is a huge week for us practice-wise.
Yeah, big week for you guys, and then obviously a big 2 weeks for you guys on the actual court. And the schedule continues in a way that it's like conference play, in my opinion. And again, you get Missouri State, obviously TCU, which will be a tall task. And they've been a really interesting team to follow this year, because they have games where they don't look that great, and then they have games where they almost beat Michigan.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, which Horned Frog team are we going to see? And then, of course, UT Arlington is more than a formidable opponent. They actually played Weber State, so a couple of like opponents right there. And it was a really, really close game. Ended up beating them by 1 on the road, too. So I know you guys are focused on Ecclesia right now and everything, but just the overall outlook after Ecclesia, you play, for the next 5 on the road, and for any team, that could be a tall task.
It is, yeah. But I think we have a very mature group, and they love the opportunity to get out there, regardless of where the battle is going to be played. I love this group. I love going to war with them, and it'll be a fun, opportunity, especially at Missouri State. It's a great environment, and Steve Alford coached there for a long period of time. Corey grew up there, so it's a little bit of a coming home for him, which is very cool. And then TCU, one of our really good friends is an assistant there who was with us at UCLA, so it'll be good to see him. And Jamie does an incredible job. And then obviously bringing UTA here is a very high quality opponent prior to Christmas. So it should be a game that hopefully fans will come out to and really enjoy. And I think gives us a level to compete. You get a non-D1, you get 2 really good mid-majors, and you get an elite high major. So it's a lot of different types of challenges for our guys. And that's the biggest thing, honestly, in my opinion, we need to learn is every game is different. You have to learn to win different ways. You have to learn to adjust different ways. All 4 of those teams are going to give us way different looks. And that's what's going to prepare you for league play. And thankfully, the Missouri State and the TCU one, it's the same thing we're going to go through for North Dakota State. We're going to play a road game. We're going to travel, and then we're going to play another road game 2 days later. So it's a part of getting ready for that league play slate that we were very intentional about. And regardless of what that looks like result-wise, it's just about the growth and our guys focusing on one possession at a time and becoming the more connected team. And when we do that, I think we're going to like the results.
One more question I forgot to ask about Montana State game, and you guys have obviously emphasized that, when you're 48, i.e. the 48 seconds between whistles, which you've explained before. And how did you guys feel your team did that on Saturday? And, of course, it's kind of a tale of 2 halves game, kind of the cliche, but what did you see from your guys in those 48 seconds throughout the night?
Yeah, I mean, I thought our guys did a really good job in between whistles, especially. Like our 48 is always fairly consistent. When we struggle with our passion level and our energy level, then we just sub. because that's telling me something else. But for the most part, our guys give it. It's more to me the connectivity piece in between the whistles, and I thought it was our best game of that. Jack Turner doesn't start, but still is unbelievable on the bench. Barron and Cal did an incredible job. It's guys who bring energy consistently. Martin's did an incredible job, and then all of the rest of our guys who have started. Especially, I'll give a shout out to Udo. Like Udo had a very, very poor first half for how he usually plays, and I thought, that first 4 minutes was a huge key for him, because how was he going to play the rest of the game? And he comes back out and played with an unbelievable level of energy and passion, and gets a game-changing rebound putback. That I love Ofri's dunk, and it changed our energy level. But Udo's rebound putback was one of the pivoting parts of the game, and I'm proud of him for not allowing the prior half or possession or whatever it is to have a residue in the next one. He moved on, like we talk about consistently, and didn't allow his body language to change, and was cheering for teammates on the bench. And when our guys are like that, I know we're hooked up, and I know we're in the right spot. So that's what we need to get to on a every possession basis by January 1, and that's our full focus.
Yeah, it's a good point. That is a huge turning point, because the difference between 2 points and a comeback effort for your team, and then a shot clock violation,
no doubt,
a complete momentum change for Montana State as well later in that game too. So yeah, that was a massive play in the grand scheme of that game. One more question for you, and probably the most serious question I'll ask you all day. Did the committee get it right with Miami?
That's a great question. Corey Alford would tell you yes. He grew up in the Miami heyday, so he loves Miami.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more biased. My parents still live in South Bend, so I've been around Notre Dame.
You're an Indiana guy, though.
Yeah, I am, but it's a state thing. Yeah, I'm a Hoosier,
fair.
But I don't dislike others other than Purdue. But I don't dislike
I was going to say,
others outside of Purdue.
Yeah, right.
Yes, that they I think Notre Dame had a very good case, but at the end of the day, don't leave it in their hands. The best interview I saw, and it wasn't close, was Vanderbilt's head coach of saying, like, hey guys, do I think that the committee got it right? It doesn't really matter. It was their choice, and we need to honor that. And we had it in our hands. We had the game 1 at Texas. We had another game 1 on the road at Alabama. We didn't handle those things in the right way, and that's what we can grow from next season. And I think the maturity of that is what we need more in coaching, and just being able to say, we do control, we can control. Now, if you leave an undefeated team out of the playoff, now it's a whole different deal.
Well, yeah.
But you got beat, and whether you got beat 1 or 2 or 3 times, now we're making cases to committees. Win the game in front of you, and unfortunately, Notre Dame lost to Miami, and that's the pivot point.
Yeah, I mean, I think my argument was, and I had a couple of friends who were pretty upset about the decision.
Yeah.
I was like, any other year, if they play head-to-head and then it doesn't come down to this, scenario, Notre Dame probably gets in. But unfortunately for them, they were the 2 bubble teams,
correct,
and they played each other.
Yeah.
So I think you got to pick the winner there. So I don't know. I don't even like Miami, but I'm pro.
Fix the weekly rankings though. That's
I'll give you that. That was suspect.
Very
suspect.
suspect.
You're really going to put Notre Dame in front of them all year, and then you're going to switch at the 11th hour. I mean, whatever.
Correct.
But that's all we got for college football. I promise. I know it's a basketball
for
show,
now.
But it was
until Indiana wins
until Indiana's playing in the national championship, and then we got to deal with this guy for the next 4 weeks. So, hey, my team's playing in a New Year's Eve bowl at 7-5. Hey, that's cool. I think.
I'm happy for you.
Thanks. It means a lot. It means a lot. Well, that'll do it for us here on the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. Once again, 71st and Yale, Waldo's Chicken. Big thanks for having us out yet again. Big thanks to both coaches for talking some hoops with us after a very, very successful weekend at the Baby Center. We will be back next week to continue the conversation. But a big thanks for all you tuning in. A big thanks once again for Waldo's Chicken for having us out, and a couple of big games coming up next weekend after both teams get off of the finals grind. So once again, big thanks for everybody tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. This has been the ORU Basketball Coaches Show on the ORU Sports Network.